The reason lost media is so interesting, and the reason it is even usually found or cared about in the first place, is simply because of people remembering. Whether that be small specifics about a forgotten piece of media, or even knowing everything down to the last detail. But sometimes people can forget or even misremember things about a piece of lost media, or even in some cases, fabricate the entire thing, which leads to pieces of lost media that, while not forgotten, were never actually real in the first place. So here are 10 pieces of lost media that don't actually exist. Five Nights at Freddy's Lost Trailer. On June 14th of 2014, Scott Cawthon, the creator of the famous horror video game series Five Nights at Freddy's, would upload the original trailer for the first game to his personal YouTube account. Sometime after this, a user named Walmeet would comment on the video asking about another trailer. Fast forward many years later to July 15th, 2020, and a Reddit user was able to contact Walmeet about the comment on Twitter, asking him about this alleged original trailer that he had seen. Walmeet responded saying, quote, "There was a previous video up there that had a different, scarier design for the unsuited animatronics with red, quote, HAL 9001 style eyes. I suppose it isn't up anymore on Scott's channel, but I remember a few gaming YouTubers making mention of it when it was still on Kickstarter." Then later, a Twitter user named InvisibleFox23 would post a picture of the supposed endoskeleton design. And sometime after that, a Redditor named the Freddy channel used the Wayback Machine to find Scott Cawthon's old Google Plus account, where he found 3 now deleted videos. 2 of these videos were later uploaded to Scott's YouTube channel, but the third video that was titled only 5 Nights was still lost. Everyone had assumed at this point that this was the lost trailer, but on July 16th, 2020, Walmeet would make a post on Twitter where he debunked the existence of this supposed trailer, saying that the video he was referring to in his earlier tweets were actually about the trailer that was still available and made public. The endoskeleton that he was referring to that he thought was cut was actually this one from the current trailer of the game. However, that still leaves the mystery of the video titled 5 Nights on Cawthon's Google Plus account, which is still lost and a mystery to this day. Operation Aliens. Operation Aliens was a supposed cartoon pilot that was created in 1992 as part of the Alien movie universe that was supposed to be released around the same time as Alien 3, along with a new line of action figures that were being produced by Kenner Toys. Details about this animated episode were almost non-existent. However, people believed that the animation was being outsourced to a Korean animation studio. The episode was never aired, however, and people simply believed that, for whatever reason, the cartoon was cancelled, even though they still went through with creating several pieces of merchandise. Going by the comics that were included with the Operation Aliens toy line, the cancelled series was thought to be about Ellen Ripley, as well as other characters from the films tracking down and hunting xenomorphs. At the time, it was thought that the show might have been scrapped because of its association to the Alien movie franchise, which are violent horror films made for adults, and the demographics really didn't match up. The only evidence of the animation's existence were screenshots of the supposed animation that was used for the episode that were found on a Korean animation website. However, on December 14th, 2018, on the Aliens vs. Predator Galaxy fan site, an article was written that debunked the existence of the Operation Aliens pilot. A Fox Kids executive named Margaret Koch explained that there was never an episode that was put into production, nor any animation that was actually done by any outsourced studio in Korea. She did say, however, that there was a time when a cartoon idea was being talked about in correlation with the toy line, but that was quickly scrapped. And the screenshots of the supposed animation were actually from an animated, unaired commercial for Alien in 1992. And while Operation Aliens never existed, quite a few of these animated commercials for the toy line are still lost to this day. Polybius. Polybius was an alleged arcade cabinet that supposedly was being played around sometime in the 1980s, in particular around Portland, Oregon, in arcades. It was said that the game would cause physical problems to those that played it, inciting nausea, seizures, and even reports of people committing suicide after playing it. It was also reported that men in black suits would come by to these arcades and take data from the cabinets. Although no actual evidence other than anecdotes from people claiming to have played the game, as well as supposed images of the cabinets exist, and Polybius simply became somewhat of an urban legend, and a fairly popular one at that, even making a cameo in an episode of The Simpsons. Some people believe that these rumors and urban legends were started because of an arcade game called Tempest, which also caused some problems with kids that played the game, including 2 incidents that took place in 1981 in Portland, Oregon. Also around that time, there were also FBI raids on arcades in that area because the owners were suspected of tampering with the machines and using them for wagering. These 2 separate incidents may have led to the urban legend of Polybius that is still known and talked about to this day. Now Leaving Bikini Bottom. Now Leaving Bikini Bottom was a supposedly cancelled episode of the original SpongeBob SquarePants animated series that was supposed to air in 2009 as the finale for the 7th season, as well as the final episode for the series as a whole. However, it was thought that this episode was cancelled when SpongeBob was renewed for an 8th season. No details about the actual episode existed, and the only evidence of its existence was a screenshot on a forum from April 3rd, 2009, that showed an ad for the episode on SpongeBob's official website at the time, which showed that it was, quote, an hour-long Spongetacular, coming soon. However, this was indeed just a hoax, as Season 8 was announced in 2008, while Season 6 was still airing. Croc III. Croc III, Stone of the Gobos, was an alleged 3rd game in the Croc video game series that was supposedly in development from 2001 to 2005. It was believed at the time that Croc III was going to be released by Argonaut Software on PlayStation, PlayStation 2, GameCube, and Xbox. The plot of the game was unknown, although it was said that the game would continue where the 2nd game left off. The game was also going to feature, quote, fully explorable hub worlds, as well as being a predominantly 2-player co-op game that would feature a new character called Ginger, who would be played by the 2nd player. It was said that the game underwent many obstacles and changes during development, such as how the original voice actor for Croc was recast and how the engine they were using to create the game was causing problems during development. It was thought that the game would release in 2005, however Argonaut was shut down in 2004, with the Croc IP being left to ZeniMax Media, who eventually canceled the project. All of this information was given by a user on Unseen64 by an Argonaut employee. However, it was revealed later that all of this information was fabricated, as developer Storybox later said that the Croc IP was actually still owned by the co-producer of the original games, and Croc was even going to be featured in an upcoming title. It was also revealed that ZeniMax did not own the Croc IP at all, when a user named Old Classic Gamer on Unseen64 contacted Bethesda. Ed, Edd n Eddy Special Ed. Special Ed was an allegedly proposed episode of the Ed, Edd n Eddy cartoon series. Not much at all was known about the episode other than series creator Danny Antonucci saying that the episode didn't go through because it was, quote, too real. However, on October 10th, 2016, user Bedhead Bernie on YouTube uploaded a video that debunked the notion that this episode even got past the concept stage. He even mentioned that according to a storyboard artist, no one at AKA Cartoon remembers the production of the episode, nor do any materials from the production exist. Although the episode was never made, the concept behind the episode was real, and why it was never created can only be speculated on, although the implied subject matter as well as the implications of the title most likely had something to do with it. Pikmin PS2. In 2004, a maze-type game created by game publisher Phoenix Games was supposedly released under the name Packy, being an obvious rip-off of Pac-Man. Nothing was known about the game itself other than it was assumed to be as some sort of Pac-Man clone, and the only alleged proof of its existence was this infamous box art. which was notorious for being bad, a lot like the other box arts created by Phoenix Games, such as these gems. Not much else at all was known about the game, and people started to question its actual existence at all. And then on July 11th, 2020, a YouTuber named Retro Detect uploaded a video about Packy, where he stated that the game never actually made it past its initial concept stages, and that the infamous box art was actually just meant to be a placeholder art, which was actually stolen from a ray tracing competition. A Day with SpongeBob SquarePants. In 2011, an unlicensed mockumentary by the name of A Day with SpongeBob SquarePants was supposedly being made. The reason this film was known at all was because of this image that was used as the DVD cover that was available online. The film was to be distributed by Regal Films and MVD, and even the premise behind the film was given on the Regal Films website. Quote, "In this mockumentary, SpongeBob lives above ground like all Hollywood superstars. Afraid that SpongeBob is becoming old news, his boss runs a contest called Spend a Day with SpongeBob. The contest makes SpongeBob the talk of the town, as thousands of kids enter to win. The lucky winner is Seth, and he is ecstatic about his day with SpongeBob. However, the day becomes a roller coaster ride as things don't go quite as they planned. It was later revealed, however, that the film was never made and ended up being cancelled, with the cover art merely being placeholder art to be shown to distribution companies to get the film produced." Saki Sanabashi, otherwise known as Go for a Punch, was said to be an anime OVA that was made possibly sometime in the late 80s or early 90s, and was first described in a 4chan post back in 2015. Where the topic has already been covered by many YouTubers, including Wang, who did an entire series on the whole saga surrounding the mystery about this anime. According to the post, however, it was about 30 minutes long and featured 9 characters trapped inside a bathroom with no windows or doors, who start to go crazy as time passes, which ends with all of them dying in gruesome and violent ways. The obscurity and ambiguity of the post made a lot of people curious and interested in the anime, which sparked a massive search for it, including even a subreddit created for the sole purpose of finding it. It would later be revealed, however, that the supposed original author of the 4chan post that started this whole search made up the entire thing as a hoax. Although some people still believe that it exists somewhere out there, and that this person was not the original creator of the post, it is most likely not real. Although some people are even trying to recreate it using various mediums, such as fan mangas and even animations. Mario Knights. Mario Knights was a supposed game in the Mario franchise developed by Nintendo for the SNES sometime possibly in the 90s. It was said to be one of the least recognized games in the Mario franchise, and all that was known to exist from the game was the box cover art. It was also allegedly the last game produced and released on the SNES, although the game is not listed on any of the wikis concerning the releases of all official Mario games. And with no official proof of the game's existence, most people believed that it was just a photoshopped image, or at best, just a bootleg Mario game. But to satisfy their curiosity about the game, a user on the Lost Media archive named the Sponge231 sent a letter to Nintendo inquiring about the game, and 3 months later, he provided this letter that he received from Nintendo, in which they state that no such game was ever made or released on the SNES. So I really need to thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'm really sorry it took so long to get this out there. If you guys did see my community post though, I had a bad problem with my computer. Because of like a restarting Windows update loop, I pretty much had to reformat my entire hard drive, and I lost the video that I was working on that week, so I guess that video is lost media. Anyways, thank you guys so much for getting us all the way to 3,000 subs already. It's really crazy. And definitely leave me any suggestions for future videos I should make. Anyways, that's it. Thank you guys again for watching, and I'll see you later.